happy to even request him to even share how did this F1C came. Does he have any connection with Formula One? And he's going to talk to us about finding a top coach for CEO. So while I see here a lot of expert coaches and facilitators sitting here, there are people from HR and business also. So probably his inputs will help them to decide to pick up the right coach for their CEO. So over to you.
All right, so while they're loading this presentation, my name is Bjorn, not John, but you can call me John if you like. Bjorn is a good Indian name, right? Yes? No? Where's this name from, Bjorn?
Sweden.
Sweden? Very good. Sweden, Norway, Denmark, right? What does it mean?
Just John.
John means John. No, close, right? It means bear. Bear, right? So if you don't know how to say my name, because people mispronounce my name in all kinds of funny ways, right? They call me Bjorn, John, Joran, Bjorn. The worst one is when they call me Bjorny. So you can call me Bear if you like. That'll do. Bjorny you like. Good. I'm sure you're not alone. So we're about to start the presentation, and I want to talk about CEO coaching, right? And in general, high-level coaching and leadership. Well, so you know how to. Okay. Great. So I'm the author of a book. Maybe Roger, you can lift it up. It's actually right there on the table. It's called Develop Exponential Power. And the book, by the way, this is me at age 1, right here. Right, so my first time eating chocolate. Do you recognize me?
It was a beard.
You thought it was a beard at age 1? No, Mary, Mr. Mary, I'm still looking forward to looking like you and growing up here. So this is me at age 2.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm pretty tall, right? Maybe not for India, but how tall do you think I am? I always have to get this out of the way because people are making bets in the background.
6'3".
6.5? 6'3".
6'5".
6'5", 6'7".
6'8". 6'8".
6'8". Who said 6'8"?
Raju.
Oh, Roger, because he knew already. So let's give Roger a hand. Roger, very good. By the way, 6'8" also equates to 5 foot 20 inches. Right?
You're 6'8".
Or 203 centimeters. No? So I was a little shorter here still. No? I have 4 kids. I'm married to a Filipina, and I live in the Philippines for the last almost 14 years. Good. So coaching is one of the most effective ways of developing people, but it's not the most popular. It's the third most effective according to this study in 2015. No? So I wrote this book called Develop Exponential Power. To give you a little context. Now, there's a lot of books on power on the market, right? Who has read books on power here? Thank you for being authentic, yes. Usually it's like a closet thing. We read about it, but we don't talk about it, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of books on power, and I also read them. 48 Laws of Power, and So I read these books, but then I didn't feel well about it. And by the way, forgive me for my voice, right? I usually don't talk like this. But my sore's a little throat, my throat's a little sore. And so I didn't feel well about reading these books, and what I read there, I couldn't sleep right. And I was like, why is that I don't feel well after reading about power? Something just didn't sit. And so I asked myself, what is it really that I was reading about? And I realized what I was reading about was about deception. And it was about trickery. And it was about manipulation. And it was about cheating people. And I was like, wow, that's power? Really? Can that be? Who else doesn't feel well about that? You never liked what?
Many of the things written there,
Yeah, you didn't like it, right?
it doesn't align with what
It doesn't align, right? Especially for us as coaches, it doesn't align. So I was like, in the space of inquiry, so is this really power? And it wasn't to me.
deceitful, it looks deceitful.
Pardon me?
It feels like you're deceiving the other people and being powerful. The first thing was, there was one thing that said, keep your enemy the closest to you.
It's also manipulation, right?
That's what deceit.
So I asked myself then, if that's not power, what is it? And I kept asking myself, what's this all about? And I discovered that the world at large was confused about power. Because what the world writes about that supposedly power is, wasn't power at all. It was force. It's this thing I call force. And how do I know the world's confused? Because we talk about things like positional power. But is position really power? Or is it something else? We talk about may the force be with you. But do we really mean the force? Or do we mean something else? So let me ask one volunteer question. If I force you to do something, Rajani, yes? Rajani. If I force you to do something, Rajani, are you gonna like it? If I force you, are you gonna like it? No. Right. If I force her, she's not gonna like it. Are you gonna wake up in the morning going, yay, I can't wait to do this thing Bjorn's forcing me to do? Are you? No. Right? Are you gonna go through your day excited and chipper and yay, I'm so happy to do what he's forcing me to do? Are you? No. Right? That's what happens to your energy when I'm forcing you. Does it go up or down? It goes down, right? Her head goes like, energy goes down when we force people. And so I discovered that force was a reduction of energy. And in extreme cases, extreme force turned into first sickness, and then murder, and then war. In extreme cases. Now, what was power then? If force was a reduction of energy. So we said, well, maybe power is the opposite. Power is an increase of energy. And so we wrote a book. I wrote a book about 28 ways of increasing energy. For yourself and for others. And that became the distinction, because we now saw that true power was only energy, or was energy, not only, but true power is energy. And the distinction is, the difference is that with force, the energy goes down, and with true power, the energy goes up. And in today's world, they call it a VUCA world, but I'm already tired of this word VUCA. I can't hear it anymore. To me, it's just a new normal. We are in an up and down world. Things are changing all the time. It's kind of like, let's stop making it wrong. It's just like being on the dance floor and things change and shift. It's changing all the time. It's not VUCA, it's the new normal. And it's not going to stop anytime soon. We have to stop wishing for it to go back. So, with power being energy, when we realize that, and we realize that in today's world, where we always have to do more and more and more, but with less and less and less, can we truly afford to have leaders that reduce the energy of the people? Can we afford that? We cannot, right? Because to get more out of a situation, we have to increase the energy. We have to lift it up, multiply it, yeah, and find ways for these energies to multiply each other. And that's why the book is called Exponential Power, because there's ways of multiplying it, not just increasing it. So that's the context. So that's the book. It was recommended by Marshall Goldsmith. We don't have time to talk about it. Just take a glance. This is why CEOs seek out executive coaches. It really is lonely at the top. There's nobody who understands you. Other CEOs can be just as lost as you are. Right? So you're laughing. You probably know about this, right? Nobody you know might be an expert at leading, and you cannot necessarily trust what others say about you, because they just want to gain your favor, right? And you may not be up to date on the latest in leadership. Leadership is something that's evolving. It's not static. The science is continuously growing. And so you may not be up to date. And what you learned in your MBA or your doctoral course may be already outdated. So it helps to learn. We've been through a lot, and everyone may just want to say what you want to hear. Right? Maybe you need some help with conflict resolution. And the pressure is great to deliver again and again, no matter what the market conditions. Yeah? So in sports, however, only the pros have coaches. Yeah, but we don't see it the same way when we're executives, because we might look bad having a coach, right? So for example, in the US, there's a big difference between East Coast and West Coast perception of coaching. On the East Coast, they say, what do you mean you give me an executive coach? Is there something wrong with me? Yeah? On the West Coast, very different. They say, what do you mean I don't get a coach? Is there something wrong with me? Yeah, because anybody who's someone will have a coach. Why don't you give me one? Huh? I deserve a coach. I am someone. No? So, how do you find the top coach? The same coaching skills that may apply for mid-level don't apply for top level necessarily. Yeah? It takes more confidence, it takes more experience, it takes more inner power and confidence. The higher up you go and coach on the corporate ladder. Yeah? The higher you coach an organization, the less you coach on motivation. Why? Because they already are motivated. Yeah? But the lower you go, the more motivation is usually needed. However, you coach on how to motivate others. Right? That's what you coach on. So, the higher you go, the more you need to know about leadership. What is it? And ideally, you know about the cutting edge of leadership, because your client may not have the time to read the books that they should be reading, so they're expecting you to have read those books. And they're expecting you to have taken those classes that they should be taking. Yeah? And then give them the shortcuts, because they don't have the time. Yeah? So working knowledge of different areas, right? It's always good to be a guru, and I know Will may not necessarily agree with that, but it helps to be a guru because then you're somebody you go to. They don't have time to ask questions about one topic over the next hour or 2 or 3 or 4. No, they want to cover 6 topics or 7 topics in 1 hour. Yeah? And it doesn't mean that we tell them what to do, but we can provide them with the frameworks that help them make decisions quickly, intelligently. That makes sense. Frameworks. That's the access to great coaching. The higher the coaches, the more they need to be guru. Okay, got it. So the higher you go, the more you also need to become a mentor, because you teach them the frameworks. Not what to do, There's a big difference between telling them what to do and teaching them how it works, right? The workings behind things. So I'll give you some examples. So we call it mentoring and coaching, where a coach has both roles. Yeah. And it may not sit well with the ICF, which by its nature is more geared towards life coaching anyways, right? Okay, good. So top level coach must have read books and courses. We've done that. You should have had a wide range of experiences. And ideally, if you're really a top level coach, you're involved in a research. Now, you help take what's commonly known as leadership to the next level. Yeah? So, if you're only looking for single or low double leadership growth, this may not be for you. Now, here's 4 enemies, for example. This is one framework. 4 enemies that any human being, especially executives, will go through. The first level of enemy is called fear. Now, most people, even executives, they never ever overcome that level of enemy. It takes their whole lifetime, and they're still driven by fear. This is just enemy number 1. But there's other enemies, and you'll see that in many executives, right? The next level is force. Sometimes confused with power. They use force to get their way. There's a space in between disempowerment and empowerment. And that place is called anger or force, right? For people, they're still in a disempowered state somewhat. They're still scared. They're still fearful. And so they go against their own fear and use force to go against their own fear. And because they go against their own fear and use force against themselves, they now use the same force on others as well. Does this make sense? Only when we overcome having to be forceful with ourselves can we also stop being forceful with others. Then certainty is another enemy. It sounds like a friend when you're in a stage of fear, right? I'd love to have certainty because I'm so scared. But once you get there, you no longer have the fear. You've overcome force. Now you're in certainty because you think you know everything. But when you know everything, learning stops. And when you stop learning, you start dying. Then of course, old age is the last of our enemies, and that enemy we can only overcome temporarily. Does this make sense? Okay, good. So then there are also levels of leadership. This is another framework. What is leadership? The first thing we have to learn is to lead what? What's the first thing we have to learn to lead? Ourselves, right? Often overlooked. Many people think they can be leaders without leading themselves. But can you truly be a leader for others if you cannot lead yourself? Would you be credible as a leader? No, right? Because we would be seen as not walking the talk. Look at this guy, he's pretending. He wants us to do what he cannot. Or she wants us to do what she cannot. So there's levels. First level of leadership is leading nobody. It's like no leadership. Management falls into that category. By the way, management, does it fall into force or power? Where does management fall into? Force, that's right. It falls into the category of force. And that is why my prediction is for the future, the word manager and the word management will become bad expressions. They will not want to be used anymore because it's a much lower level of existence. And it uses force to get its way, and we can no longer afford that. In a world where we need to accomplish more with less. But force is still at work throughout the world. You see it everywhere, right? And some are now predicting the next world war already. And that's something that inspires me about the work I do, because I see the lack of this knowledge in so many of our leaders around the world. Yeah? If they just knew the difference between force and power, if we can just stop this confusion. If every one of us can become a leader through power and not through force, we can change the world, truly. We can. Yeah. I'm sorry, this makes me on. So then we can take it even another level and say the exponential leader, but we'll get into that later, no? So how much time do I have left? 4 minutes, okay. So there's a myth of steady growth, right? So the myth is we steadily grow throughout life. Just you gradually kind of go up with a little bit of up and down. Sometimes there's a blip down, and sometimes there's a blip up. Yeah? Kind of like that. Normal growth, yeah? And then we say, oh, let's upgrade our skills, right? That's the way to do it. Yeah, so skill goes up a bit, and then pretty much goes in parallel to the same curve before. Yeah? Do you agree? Okay, good. How about normal growth after life-changing impact? When our confidence goes up, when our power goes up. All of a sudden, the line does no longer go in parallel, but it now changes the angle. Yeah? The degree changes, and over time, the difference becomes larger and larger and larger. Yeah? Make sense, guys? Yeah? Now, what if, and I can do that, and we've done this, we can do this again, and again, and again. Now, then it would look like this. We shift, and we shift, and we shift, and we shift, and we shift. And all of a sudden, you have an exponential growth curve. Yeah? That's what happens. And you don't need all 28 in the book. You can do it with 4 or 6 or 8. Yeah? Okay. And then what else? My teams don't work. So we've already introduced you to a couple of frameworks, right? So this is what they say. But I think you can read it yourself. I don't have to read it to you, no. There's a change process, how it happens. You know? And these are the things that have teams work. You know, how do we come up with that? Then what if rapid growth was possible in any economy? You know, so there's only 2 reasons why a company grows. 2, that's it. You know, we think there's thousands, if not millions of reasons, but there's really only 2. A, your company will grow if the market gets better. Yeah, agree? B, your company will grow if you get better. Make sense? Those are the only 2 reasons. That's it. Yeah, very simple. But usually what happens when the market goes down, we stop getting better. And then our companies perform worse, and then we say, see, I told you so. Right? I told you it would get worse. Yeah? But how much of that truly was self-imposed, right? How much of that truly did we really bring upon ourselves by stopping to get better? Yeah? But there's those few that do the opposite. Instead of slowing down learning, they accelerate learning in bad times. And those are the ones that succeed no matter what the economy looks like. Yeah, that's what's possible. Don't buy into this crap they're telling you. Yeah? So the question, are we human beings or are we human doings? What do you think?
Doing.
Anybody human doing here? Raju?
Only me.
4 human doings, right? Do we have any human beings in here? Okay, Mr. Mary is both human being and human doing.
We're all both. We're all both.
No, we're not a human doing. We're only doing things as humans, no? But who we are human beings. Yeah, but we do things as humans, absolutely. But there's 3 realms of coaching. Do we still have time? We have to rush, he says. Rush. Okay, who knows the 3 realms of coaching? What's a realm? What's a realm? It's an area, right? A space. Yeah? What are the 3 spaces? What are the 3 realms of coaching? Who knows? I already gave you a hint earlier. No? Okay, here we are. One is called doing. Yeah, we coach on doing. What do we need to do? Next realm is what do we want to have? The realm of having. But there's a 3rd realm. What is it? Being, right? Who said it? Very good. Yes? I really appreciate your talk before mine was perfect. So, the 3rd realm is being, yes? Here's a sheet from an actual workshop. Yeah, we asked this question when we have an exercise. You went through a challenge. What had you succeed in the middle of this very difficult challenge in your life? Yeah, and so we took notes, usually about 40 items. What worked? You know, we ask what worked. We don't care about the problems. We ask what worked. Yeah? And then we break it into the 3 realms. Yeah, and we break it into being, doing, and having. So here's the outcome. Doing was 12 items. Having was 11. And being was 21. 21 items were being. So what do you think was really important here? Yeah? These people spoke for themselves. Being was very important. Yeah? But the question I have for you, do we ever at work talk about being? Do we talk about that? Yeah? Yeah, when? When? How often? Once a year when we talk about values. Yeah? That's when we talk about being. Yeah? We don't talk about it when we go have a meeting. We don't talk about it when we go have a client meeting. We don't talk about it when we have a weekly challenge or when we have a problem. We don't talk about it. You know, it's like this once a year thing, and then we kick it aside and expect it to last for a year. It doesn't. Yeah? Beingness is a conscious decision in every single moment. Yeah? But there's more, so there's being, doing, having. What? I know in HR people hate numbers, right? I once spoke to 300 HR managers. And I said, how many of you like numbers? Be proud! Out of the 300, 5 raised their hands. 5. 3 of them were men. And there's only 4 men in the audience.
Heroic leadership.
Heroic leadership. Yeah, there's only 3. I said, what if we could turn this into a formula? Do we have to cut? I apologize, we have to end before I can tell you the formula for success. But if you want to see me in the break, please come and see me, and I'll share it with you. Yes? All right. Do we have for answer? Do we have time for questions?
I think it's offline now.
Okay, we're late for lunch, so we hear the time is grumbling. I thank you for your time and attention. God bless.